All right, everybody. Well, hey, we are back with a buddy of mine who is the founder of the Texas Podcasters Association and he's the head honcho over at Game Day Media out of San Antonio, Texas. He's also one of the big guys behind SportsCon that's taking place in Orlando at the same time or the day or two before Podfest is going on there. So he's got some big irons in the fire besides producing all sorts of great stuff there in San Antonio in the podcast community. But his new podcast, Senior Care FM, is a guiding voice in finding the best senior care solutions for you and your loved ones, no matter where your needs fall on the senior care spectrum. He'll be sharing information, give you resources to confidently determine what senior care solution is best based on situation and preferences. And we are honored to have a fellow podcaster and buddy of ours, John Largent, join us here on Petcha Pod Pitch, man.
Hey, Scott, how are you doing, man? Thank you so much for putting on this event. It has been amazing. I've been in and out all day, but I've been following since you started. And I wouldn't even say a spigot of knowledge. I would say the Niagara Falls of knowledge that's been going on all day has been amazing. And I can't wait to do this and everything going on tomorrow and Saturday. So congratulations for putting this together, first of all.
Well, hey, thanks, man. It's people like you and others coming on here. Maybe not Niagara Falls in like bucket-sized shots today. For the
yeah, there you go.
You know, we're going to turn it on the real faucets the next couple of days with some longer stuff. But thanks, man. But, I wanted to approach it a little bit differently with you because you've been really doing some great things in the San Antonio, Texas market. With your different podcasts and your production company, everything I go there. So why don't we talk a little about that and kind of how you got started and where your focus is at these days?
Yeah. Thank you. So I was a hospital administrator and I did that for 27 years. And about 3.5 years ago, I put a date on a calendar and said, I've been doing a podcast for fun called Tailgate Radio. Still do it. And it's all about everything that happens outside of the stadiums and the arenas and the tracks and anywhere there's a sporting event. And I've been doing that since 2007 on a weekly basis. So, 13 years is a long time to do a weekly podcast. And so I found myself in a situation where it was like I was in a career, I wouldn't say rut, but I just didn't see any opportunity to do the other things I wanted to do. So I put a date that I wanted to do podcasting full time. And December 1st, 2017, I quit my job and took a lease on a small space in downtown San Antonio. And I'm happy to say we're still doing business. And we just actually moved into a 2,000 square foot facility last month. And we have a live stream studio, 2 podcast studios, a classroom, and it's really a nice self-contained community that we're starting to put together. And it's been awesome.
Yeah, you're doing a great job with the community and growing. Congratulations on the new office size. That's always really awesome. With what you're doing, and now you're putting on SportsCon. Let's talk a little about that, if you don't mind, because I know you're really excited about that. I mean, you were the podcast host of the AAF that lasted around for a couple of months there too, with the Crusaders from San Antonio. I was all excited about that while it lasted. But let's talk about SportsCon. What was your idea to kind of get that started?
Yeah. So, our humble beginnings, our company is called Game Day Media, and that came from doing the tailgating stuff. And then when I curated, it was really cool. We did have a Alliance of American Football team here that only lasted a few months, but I basically put out open auditions for hosts. I didn't want to host it. I just wanted to kind of steer the ship from behind the microphone and bring in fans. We had these 3 people that were amazing. And over the course of the season, we started really early. I don't even know if the team had a name yet. And we were at all the events. We got press credentials. We interviewed the president of the team and Moose Johnston, who was the GM. And we just had unfettered access to this team. And unfortunately, we lasted much longer than they did. But the last episode, we did a live stream just on the fly. I was holding the phone up and taking calls. And we had like 20,000 people that were watching and listening. And it was like, okay, this is a really unique space to be in this genre. And so that kind of started the the juices flowing as far as what we could do for people all over that are in the sports, esports, and gaming communities. And so I talked with Chris Kremitzos over at Podfest, and I said, this is an idea. What do you think? And he's like, let's do it. He's one of those guys. He's like, he wrote a book called Start Ugly. And
Yep.
so we've put this together. We've got a great group of people. It's a one-day mini conference at Podfest. And if you have tickets to Podfest, you can come to Sports PodCon, whether you're in sports or not, because there's going to be some really great speakers there. But I envision this. We've already had conversations with people that, through finding out about it, they were like, well, next year, we should do multiple tracks with women in sports and have just a gaming track and have fantasy sports. So I really feel like it's going to take off, and it's just kind of planting. If you're a fan of Eddie Izzard, it's all about planting your flag. And so we're planting our flag this year. And eventually I see this thing growing into an event of its own, but we are so grateful and so thankful that Chris is allowing us to really ride on his shoulders for Podfest this year. But I think it's going to be a great event.
Well, you've done a great job. I mean, there's no doubt it's going to be a great event, because you've done a great job with other micro events, like with the San Antonio, was it Business Week, Small Business Week that we came down there, down there, and then Podfest before, and then you were also a speaker at the San Antonio Podcasters conference that took place that Jennifer put on too. So no doubt about that. With you building things and starting things, you said plant the flag. I love that quick. Got to plant the flag and start your whatever it is. What's been the thing that maybe has frustrated you a little bit the most with podcasting or podcasters that you see out there?
Yeah, on the podcasting side, I think the frustration, and it's a self-frustration, is it's so hard to keep up with the advances in technology. Mm-hmm. Something like transcribing. I'm old school, and I come from the medical world. Transcribing is a thing that we did. And so I had hired some medical transcriptionists to transcribe our podcasts for all the, we have multiple clients, and it was efficient. It wasn't necessarily cost effective. And then you find out technology like Temi exists, where you can just run your thing and it gets it 95% right. And you can have someone go in there and fix the 5% and do it really quickly. So that's been my frustration with podcasting, but it's all good stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm just of the age, my kids always give me a hard time. They said I'm the old man, shaking the shoe or these darn kids, but I just really, for me, it's just, there's so much good stuff out there that I want to try it all. I want to experiment with it and see what would work best for us and our clients. And there's just not enough time in the day, and you can get that overload and just feel like, whoa, there's so much going on. So that's been my frustration.
Yeah, it is. But you've done a really good job delegating, and then also adding roles to helping out that, or helping delegate tasks out, or offsetting that stuff with other people too, and staff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have some VAs. We've added staff internally. All of the financial stuff, as far as taxes and things like that, are all outsourced now. When you start, it's just you. And we've had the luxury now of being able to outsource the things so that we can focus on producing just really outstanding content. And we've done some amazing stuff. Not that we've did it. Not that we've done it. We've just had some amazing people come in our studio, and we've had the opportunity to produce their content. So that's been amazing.
Where do you see your role in game day media and everything going on with the Texas Podcaster Association over the next couple of years? Do you have any forecasting or things or thoughts where you're going to be heading?
Yeah, I think, and that's something I'd like to talk to you about, but I do think that there's an opportunity for us to do something statewide here. I know Jennifer did a great job with her event. I think there are opportunities to do more of those kind of things. And there's so many talented people. I think the challenge that most of us have that are trying to build a community is that it's fractured. There's some great communities out there, but the left hand's not talking to the right hand. And if we can figure out a way to bridge that gap so that all the communities, I know Austin has a very vibrant podcasting community. San Antonio does too, but they come out of the woodwork, and they have established shows and they have their audiences. But even as close as I am, as close as you are, probably, you don't know all the people that are doing that, and you would love for them to contribute to the community. And so that's one of the things I'm really going to focus on. We're going to do some live podcast events at a comedy club this year. So we're going to do like 3 podcasters, and they're going to do a live show with a live audience, and have, Phil Donahue style, Oprah style. And I think that's going to be fun. And I think that's going to help bring the community together too. So
that's good. As long as you didn't say Jerry Springfield style. There
yeah, yeah, no folding chairs and all that stuff. Yeah,
you were wrong. He is your podcast father.
That's right.
Now, Senior Care FM. Let's talk about that a little bit with a little bit of time we got left there.
Yeah. Absolutely. So my background's in healthcare, and I'm a certified senior advisor. And what's happened is there's just this tsunami of people that are turning 65. 11,000 people every day are turning 65, and that's going to happen for the next 18 years. It's going to be over 70 million people in just a short time that are going to come of that age, and the folks that are 85% or 85 years and older are that population is going to grow by 200%. And these people are in a place where they're going to need help. Their families are going to need help, because what happens now is that the only time people think about senior care is when someone goes into the hospital. They've had a fall, they've had a stroke, they've had something catastrophic happen in their lives, and they're struggling to find the answers. And as any industry grows with the number of people that are kind of moving up in the age bracket, there are all these services that come out of the woodwork, and some of them are great and some of them are not so great. And so this show is going to be primarily designed to shield people and give them good information and bring them great resources. And I hope an offshoot of that, and one of the things I'm working on kind of behind the scenes right now, is building a platform to train people to help in a consultative manner and have a new business for themselves and help seniors and their families in their particular market anywhere in the country. And this is I don't want to say it's a calling, but I guess it is. It's something that it's been, dear to my heart for forever. And I think, we don't do a great job of taking care of our seniors in this country as well as we should. And so yeah, man, I'm planting my flag there too. And we're going to build a network of people through this podcast and other things we do to make sure that our seniors and our senior population are well taken care of.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's one of the 5 biggest emerging markets out there they've talked about is helping with the elderly. Because I don't think there are enough resources. I was, making the BNI networking around November, and was really surprised to see more, Medicaid experts out there. That's all they do. It's like, I don't remember seeing you anywhere when I was here a couple of years ago, but they've really blossomed, and there's opportunities there to really do some good and help those out there.
Yeah, and there's already a shortage. That's the thing. There's already a shortage. It doesn't necessarily affect all areas. I think, things like independent living, assisted living, those things are popping up everywhere. And so the housing piece is keeping track, but just the individual caregivers say, I'm not ready, as a 70 or 80-year-old person to move out of my home. They bring caregivers into their home, and that's the largest profession in the country right now, and it's still at a deficit. And that's going to continue to grow. So we're going to bring some really great content through experts, through ideas, through training and planning ahead and all those things. And I'm really excited about this show. A lot of people didn't realize that I had a healthcare background. They said, well, this is a kind of a deviation from tailgating. And it is, but it's something that, I get to take one hat off. Your last guest was talking about being authentic. And, when you have a split personality, because you do the sports stuff on one end, and that's how most people know you, but then you've got this other side, you have to still struggle to be authentic in both spaces. And so, that's a challenge, a branding challenge for us to do too. But it's so far, those paths diverge so much that there's not a lot of crossover,
right.
Which makes it fun too.
There you go. Good stuff. Well, hey, John, how can people reach out to you, get a hold of you? I see somebody on here who is a admin in the Austin Podcast Association, in case he wants to reach out to you and network as well. what's the best way for people to reach out to you to find more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Game Day Media is our website, gamedaymedia.us, and you can always reach me at john@gamedaymedia.us.
Well, awesome, man. We'll keep up the great stuff, man. Plant that flag and go get it done, brother. And we'll see you in a couple weeks in Orlando. All right.
And thank you for planting your flag with us. This has been awesome.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Good stuff. All right. Good stuff.